Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, let's get started. Today I've got the Teenage Engineering OPZ in front of me, and today's actually going to be a bit of a shorter video, as is tomorrow. We're having a really nasty storm right now, and I'm anticipating losing power within the next couple of hours. So I figured I'd crank out a couple quick little videos just to tide you guys over for today and tomorrow so I can still get some content out there. But today's video should actually be pretty fun. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make kind of a randomly generating pattern on the OPZ. Now, for this demo, I'm only going to use the kick track, the snare track, and the hi-hat or cymbal track. And what we're going to do is utilize some step components to just kind of make it as random as you'd like it to be. So first of all, let's go into the kick track here. There we go. We'll just pick a good kick drum. I'm just going to put it on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice and basic. Gonna get the metronome out of there. Now let's go to the cymbal track. I'll play in some offbeats. And let's quantize those. There we go. Once again, nice and simple. And let's put a snare drum on 2 and on 4. There we go. So there's a very basic drum groove. Now, what if we want to change that up? So there are two ways we can change it. We can actually change the placement of each of those notes, and we can also change the sounds that are played on each drum kit. And remember, by drum kit, I'm referring to each bank of drums. So for instance, on the snare drum, we're on bank 1. So all of these are different sounds. Same thing with the hi-hat track or the cymbal track. All of these are different sounds. And same thing with the kick track. All of these are different sounds. So we can make it randomly select a different sound from basically the entire bank that we're on every time the step triggers. So how we're going to do that, let's actually start with the kick. We will go ahead, we will hold the shift button, we will select our 4 steps that we'd like to affect, and then when they are flashing, we are going to press this button right here. This is E, the middle E. It's also the random step component. So we're going to select that. Now, while still holding shift, we're going to select the way that we would like it to work. So in this case, I'm going to pick number 5, which means it's going to stay within this octave, but it's going to go as many as 6 steps away from the kick drum we selected, which was this C right here. So it's going to go 6 steps in either direction. Let's listen to what that sounds like. You can hear it every time it triggers. It's selecting a new sample. And it's completely random. Super cool. So let's go ahead and do that for the snare drum track as well. So we're going to hold down the shift button. We're going to select 2 and 4, which of course were the 2 steps that we put our snare drum on. We're going to select the random step component, and I'm going to select 5. Now you can select all the way up to step 0, which is still 6 basically steps in either direction. However, it will also go between 3 different octaves. So let's just see what that sounds like. See, it's really varied. A little too varied for my liking. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to reselect that step component and set it to 5. There we go. And now the sounds are all different, but the rhythm is still the same. So it's a really cool way to kind of make the OPZ play itself, as it were. Now for the cymbal track, let's change things up even more. So we'll go ahead, we'll repeat the same step. So we'll select all 4 of our offbeats there, select the random step, select number 5. Now it's picking a different sample each time. But now what I want to do is I want to use, in addition to the random step component, I want to use the pulse step component. And what this is going to do is we're going to set it to randomly repeat each trigger a certain amount of times, a random amount of times, before moving on to the next. So it's actually going to move the cymbal track completely out of time with the rest of the tracks that we're using. So it's going to be kind of different, but should be a pretty cool effect. So once again, hold shift, select our 4 steps. This time select the pulse component, which is the first one. Now to make it random, we want to select 0. Now we can release shift. Now when we press play, it's going to be completely randomized. How neat is that? And now you're just making the OPZ kind of generate its own drum track. And you can actually go in there and repeat that step on the bass drum track or on the snare drum track. I recommend at least keeping one of them steady because you at least want some semblance of where you are in the proper measure. But you can get really, really wild with this, and you can of course combine this with all sorts of other step components as well for even wackier effects. But this is just really, really neat and something that I use quite a bit when I'm trying to come up with new sounds to use within the kits. So of course we can go into the hi-hat track or the cymbal track here and change to bank 2. Now we have a whole new group of sounds. Let's go to number 3, which is Cuckoo's Patch. Now we'll go to number 3 on the snare drum track as well. And let's go to number 3 on the kick drum track as well. Now we can go to the master track, and I believe chorus and overdrive are the 2 effects here. Very inspiring, super fun to use. Then of course you can go into performance mode like that and completely lose yourself. But yeah, super, super fun little exercise you can do with the OPZ. Not sure how usable it is if you're like writing a track from start to finish, but if you're jamming or doing something live performance-wise, incredibly useful technique, I guess you can call that, to implement in your live performance. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If not, you can leave a dislike, that's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.